What's up? So today, ladies and gentlemen, we are taking on the task of ranking all 151 Generation 1 Pokemon from worst to best. And I'll be basing this ranking off a split between the aesthetic of the Pokemon as well as just the overall ability of it. But it certainly is going to be a very subjective list, so if you disagree, feel free to let me have it in the comments. And actually, just lastly, before we do get into it, I wanted to mention a giveaway. So 2.5 weeks ago, we were running a giveaway for a copy of Pokemon Sword or Shield, and the winner didn't actually claim it. So good news for you guys then, we're going to be giving away this copy again. So with that said, if you guys do want to be entered in to win, all you have to do is be a subscriber of the channel, watch the video all the way through to the end, and then comment down below what you thought of the list overall. Just generally want to hear your feedback, so yeah, I will reply to you in the comment section, so make sure to check your inboxes because the last person obviously missed it and they lost out. Anyways, with all that said, here we go. But wait, ladies and gentlemen, it is I, Future Pat, with new merch. A YouTuber selling merch? No way. But in all seriousness, guys, this is something I've been working on for a while now as to why it's taken so long to get a new Best Life shirt out. Yeah, so this is the second in the lineup of Best Life shirts. This was actually the first prototype shirt, so the design is going to be a little bit smaller on the left side of the chest, and then we've also got, boom, little thing going down the arm here. This is a very popular style right now, and I too just absolutely love it. So yeah, new merch. And if you guys are interested in getting these, it shouldn't be too late for Christmas if you are in North America. Top link down in the description. I know at this point I shouldn't even have to say it, but buy these shirts or I will light you on fire and dump your body in the ocean and no one will ever hear about you again. Anyways, let's get into this. So this list is also going to contain a tier list, and we're obviously going to start things off 151 at the bottom at the F tier. My least favorite Pokemon from Generation 1 is Ditto. Now, the reason that I hate Ditto is not so much based off of aesthetic, although I do think it's a bad-looking Pokemon. It's just that it is the most useless thing to ever grace Pokemon ever. Transform is just the dumbest idea for a move ever. And so yeah, because of that, I've just always really hated Ditto. Now moving on to number 150, we've got Drowsy. So Psychic type is my personal favorite Pokemon type, and really Drowsy just gives the Psychics a bad name. He steals kids or eats people's dreams or something, and overall I just think he looks really awful. And then moving on from here, we've got Jinx. Jinx is a common one that everyone likes to hate on, and while I don't think it's my very least favorite, I do still hate it. And then at 148, we've got Mr. Mime, another creepy Psychic type. And then actually topping out our F tier, we have Lickitung. It's just another creepy, bad-looking Pokemon. So from here, we're moving on to the D tier. Those are really the only Pokemon that I explicitly hate. Now we're just gonna move on to Pokemon that I feel very indifferent about. D tier is meh tier. At 146, we have Grimer, followed by Muck. They're just goop. Next up is Ekans, which is just a snake. And at 143, we've got Wigglytuff, actually followed right after by Jigglypuff. I mean, all you really did was just stretch it out, so I didn't really need a Wigglytuff, but I dislike both of them. At 141, we have Doduo. Just very meh. And at 140, we have Sandshrew, followed by Sandslash. Now at 138, we have Kakuna, followed by Weedle. Aesthetically, I actually kind of prefer Weedle, but both are fairly useless Pokemon. And at 136, we've got Metapod, who is, in my opinion, the superior Gen 1 Cocoon. Now at 138, we've got Slowpoke. It's just a very bland Pokemon, in my opinion. And at 134, we have Raticate, followed by Rattata. Just, again, very meh Pokemon. Now next up is Cubone, followed by its superior evolution, Marowak. And then at 130, we actually have Caterpie. Now Caterpie is actually a Pokemon that I do kind of like. Like, it's very basic, it's very simple, but overall, I actually think it's all right looking. Then from here, we've got Nidoran female, followed by Nidoran male. And right after that, we have Nidorino, then Nidorina. So these Pokemon just feel all very similar and kind of in the same category and really just kind of unnecessary. I like the final evolutions of this family, but these basic ones to me are just extremely boring. Now moving on to number 125, we've got Paris. It's an all right Pokemon, and we're kind of getting away from the so boring. At 124, we have Venonat. Interesting idea, don't love it. And then topping out our D tier, we have Voltorb and Electrode. So these Pokemon suffer the same fate as many of just being extremely unoriginal and very boring. But I don't know what it is about these guys. I think it works. Like, I certainly don't love these Pokemon, but as far as very unoriginal Pokemon go, I think Voltorb and Electrode are at the top of that idea, or lack of idea. Anyways, let's move on to the C tier. So at the bottom of our C tier, we've got Geodude. Not terrible, but at the end of the day, he really is just a rock guy. At 120, we have Execute, just a bunch of eggs with faces that manages to be okay. At 119, we have Seaking, actually followed by Goldeen. I don't love either of these Pokemon, but I actually find Goldeen to be better. That said, they are just both goldfish, and there are a lot of way better water types out there. Now, moving on to number 117, we've got the Pokemon that everyone loves to hate, and that is Zubat. Despite being extremely annoying in caves, I don't really hate Zubat. I just think it's fairly average. At 116, we've got everyone's favorite bird Pokemon, Pidgey, actually followed by Sparrow. Sparrow gang. And then at 114, we've got Krabby, followed by Kingler. Moderately okay, decent Pokemon, those guys are. Now, at 112, we have Tangela. Probably one of the more iconic Pokemon of Generation 1, and while it is original and creative, I don't really like it. So it's kind of like good and bad. At 111, we have Seal, followed by Dugong. A -2 in creativity and a absolute 5 in terms of overall design. At 109, we have Horsey. I like Horsey. At 108, we have Chansey. And then from here, we've got Shelder. Still many more better water types. Now at 106, we've got Graveler, followed by Gloom, and then Hypno. Now Hypno, in my opinion, is still kind of creepy and weird, but I think he pulls it off a whole lot better than Drowsy. And if we're being honest, I just don't really understand the connection between these two Pokemon and why Drowsy evolves into Hypno. Like, one's an anteater and one is basically a humanoid lion type thing. It's very weird. And then at 103, we've got Dodrio. Slightly better than Doduo, but still very meh. And that's actually going to top out our C tier, so now it is time to move on to the good old B tier. These are your Gen 1 Pokemon that are good, but not quite great. I like all of these Pokemon, but I don't love any of them. So starting off our list at 102, we have Arbok. At 101, we have the Duck Psychic, actually just a water type platypus Psyduck. And then at 100, we have the water looking actual water psychic type Slowbro. At 99, we have Clefable, followed by Clefairy. To me, Clefairy is just a much more iconic Pokemon, so that's why it gets ranked higher. At 97, we have Diglett, followed by Dugtrio. Had half a mind to put these much lower, but I guess they're just kind of okay. At 95, we've got Oddish, who I actually like more than Gloom, and I think is a pretty good Pokemon. And up next is another grass type, Bellsprout. I kind of like Bellsprout. I kind of like his whole family, if we're being honest. Now at 93, we have Mankey, followed by Primeape. To me, these guys are just like very whatever fighting types. Not bad, not great. At 90, we've actually got Beedrill, a huge glow up from its past two evolution forms. And then at 89, we have Parasect. Now, I really like the concept lore for Parasect. I just don't think that it's a very nice looking Pokemon, and it's also not very good. It's this crab type thing that's been taken over by this fungus that now controls it. It's really neat. Moving on to 88 though, we've got Pidgeotto, followed by Pidgeot. Just some solid, cool looking bird types. And actually right after that is Pharaoh. Again, Pharaoh, Sparrow gang. You can fight me on it. At 85, we've got Weepinbell. And then at 84, this is Golbat. A creepy, weird design that if this thing was alive in real life would probably terrify you. But with that said, I do actually really like it. Now at 83, we have Golduck, followed by Raichu, and then the fan favorite, Pikachu. Now listen, if you like Pikachu, I'm sorry, but Pikachu is just very average in my opinion. I don't have anything against Pikachu, but it's not a good Pokemon and I'm just a little bit tired of it. I just think there's a lot of better Pokemon that we can talk about, so let's move on to those. Topping out number 80, we have Tentacool. Then from here, we've got Farfetch'd, followed by Machop. At 77, we have Wheezing, followed by Coughing, which is another Pokemon that I like the pre-evolution more than the original. I know Wheezing is better, but I just think that Coughing looks cooler. At 75, we have Magnemite, followed by Magneton. For another lazy design being just magnets, I feel like this is a very well executed one. Plus, there's not a ton of great electric types in Gen 1, so you gotta take what you can get. At 73, we've got Staryu. A good Pokemon. And then at 72, we actually have Abra, A great design, one of my favorite families of any Pokemon game, but very frustrating to catch and very frustrating to train. At 71, we have Poliwag followed by Poliwhirl. Hey, this is a pretty cool Pokemon line. How can we improve it to get its third generation even better? Okay, yeah, they did literally nothing. Coming in at 69, we have Poliwrath. Nice. Number 68, we've got Onix. Honestly, I feel like Onix is actually a very unique Pokemon, like just a gigantic rock snake. It's kind of cool. At 67, we have Persian. There's not a lot of great cats in Pokemon, but I do like Persian. And then from here, it's Machoke followed by Victreebel. At number 74, we've got Rhyhorn followed by Golem. I like Golem, but he's definitely the worst of the 4 trade evolutions. Now at 72, we've got Pinsir. Poor Pinsir, always second best to Scyther. And at 61, we've got Tauros. Now from here, we've got Nidoqueen followed by Nidoking. That's right, Nidoking is the better one here. And actually followed right by these guys is Kangaskhan. Like literally the exact same Pokemon. I don't even understand why they both coexist in the same generation. Oh, and then at 57, it's Rhydon. Again, like they just all seem so similar, like these giant, bulky beast type dudes. Now, 56, we have Kabuto followed by Omastar. Omastar is a very disappointing Pokemon, and I'll talk about that a little bit more later on this list. At 54, we've got Vileplume. Actually a very cool Pokemon. At 53, we've got Porygon, something that I never really enjoyed using, but I think it's a cool aesthetic and an interesting design. At 52, we've got Butterfree, and at 51, we've got Venomoth. Did both of these Pokemon really need to be in the same generation? No, but I actually prefer Venomoth over Butterfree, so fight me. But with all that said, ladies and gentlemen, we're at number 50 now, and this is the beginning of the A tier. This is what I would consider very solid Pokemon designs that aren't quite the greats. At number 50, we have Seadra. Seadra is very cool, but he is the dragon Pokemon, yet not a dragon type. Number 49, we've got Exeggutor. And then at 48, we've got Hitmonchan, followed by Hitmonlee, which we know would all kick Hitmonchan's ass in a fight. At 46, we've got Cloyster, followed by Dratini, the original dragon Pokemon. At 44, we've got Tentacruel, a very underrated Pokemon. I always kind of didn't really like this thing until I once used it and then realized, oh my god, Tentacruel is actually insane. Very cool design and surprisingly a special tank. I like his typing and overall, Tentacruel is sweet. Now next up here, we've got a line of fire types. This is what I like to call the Fire 3 of Kanto. At 43, it's Growlithe. At 42, we got Ponyta, and then at 41, it's Vulpix. Now, their evolutions don't go in that order. We'll get to that in a sec, but that's how their first off evolutions go. And ladies and gentlemen, topping out number 40, we've got the first starter Pokemon on this list. It is Wartortle, followed by Charmeleon, and then it's actually Ivysaur. The middle levels of the starters never really stood out to me as being that great, and overall, I don't love them, but I gotta give them respect for what they are. At number 37, we've got Magmar. Very ugly, but like also very cool. And it wouldn't be far to put his electric counterpart very high ahead of him. So at number 36, we have Electabuzz. Now, number 35, we have Dragonair. Really only slightly cooler than Dratini, but definitely cooler. And at 34, we have Machamp. At 33, this is actually going to be Eevee. And let me just say, Pikachu sucks. Eevee as the Gen 1 mascot all day long. Eevee is cute and has potential. Pikachu is okay and has no potential. So, yeah. And may I also add that blue makes the right pick on choosing an Eevee and not a stupid Pikachu. Anyways, at number 32, we've got Magikarp. If you hate Magikarp, fight me. I mean, he sucks, but he's awesome, and fight me. At number 31, we've got Ghastly, one of the highest ranked non-evolved Pokemon on this list. Just think he looks awesome, even with no evolutions. And topping out number 30, this is Lapras. Now, number 29, we have Starmie. And can I just say, I think Starmie is one of the most underrated Pokemon in Generation 1. Just genuinely so cool looking, so unique, and really one of the most iconic Pokemon when you think of, Misty's Starmie. It's just a Pokemon I absolutely love. At 28, we've got the very, very cool looking fossil Pokemon, Aerodactyl. And then at 27, it's the first evolution, Flareon. I really like Flareon, but as a fire type with high attack, it just doesn't really work. Plus, I think he has the worst aesthetic of the three. But followed right after Flareon is Jolteon. Slightly cooler, but they're both the same. Now, at number 25, we've got Ammonites. And can I just say, praise Lord Helix. So much better looking than Amistar. Amistar is so disappointing. You've got Kabuto to Kabutops, who isn't even on this list yet, and then you've got Amistar. Like, what is this dude? Like, literally no change. I love Ammonites, and its evolution is disappointing. One of the most disappointing evolutions in all the generations. Let's move on. At number 24, we've got Haunter. Oh my goodness. Dude, Haunter, as a Pokemon that hasn't even hit its max evolution yet, Haunter is incredible and I think really overshadowed by Gengar, but oh my god, he looks great. And that actually followed right there, and then at number 23, we have Kadabra. Freaking love the Abra family. Kadabra just looks so clean, is so good on its own, and yeah, Kadabra's so good you can run through a lot of games just not even evolving him if you can't find someone to trade with. He's that incredible. Now, number 22, we've got Rapidash. Cool, but certainly not the best fire type. And at number 21, we have Kabutops, which, again, can I just say, I wish that Amistar could look as cool as Kabutops. And actually, from here, ladies and gentlemen, let's look at the starters. At number 20, and my least favorite starter is actually going to be Charmander. Just got a lot of bad memories trying to beat Brock with a Charmander. Oof. Now, number 19, this is Bulbasaur. I think Bulbasaur is very cool, despite being the least loved starter. And my personal favorite starter is actually Squirtle. Squirtle Squad. Squirtle Squad. What can I say? Anyways, at number 17, we've got Vaporeon, clearly and easily the best evolution of Generation 1. And actually also like a really good Pokemon. And at number 16, we've got Zapdos, the first legendary on this list and the obviously lowest ranked as well. I like Zapdos, but I don't love Zapdos. Now, at number 15, we have Scyther, praying mantis with sword arms. What more do you want? And actually, at number 14, we have Mew. Mew is like just a really cool Pokemon. I know it's like actually a pretty basic design, but it's just neat. I love that it can learn every move ever. And overall, it's just fun. It's cool. Now, moving on to number 13, we've got Moltres. I really like this big fiery bird. And ladies and gentlemen, this is going to take us to the S tier. S tier is a step above its own generation. This isn't just Pokemon that are great within its generation itself, but this is Pokemon that are great within the entirety of Pokemon. Pokemon that transcend its generation and have become true icons of the genre itself. And because it is Generation 1, I've actually got 12 of these guys. At number 12, we've got Snorlax. Obviously, an icon. At number 11, this might be shocking to some of you guys, it's going to be Arcanine. I love Arcanine. I think it looks great, but it's actually only my third favorite fire type of this generation. Topping out number 10, we've got Mewtwo. I don't love Mewtwo, but there is no denying he is another like true icon of this generation. Plus, he's really freaking strong, so there's that too. At number 9, we've got Dragonite. Yeah, I definitely like Dragonite over Mewtwo. And I mean, Dragonite is like the OG pseudo-legendary, super powerful, and just really, really cool looking. And that's actually going to take us to the final evolution starters. At number 8, the worst in my opinion is Venusaur. I mean, I love Venusaur. He's number 8 on this list, but my least favorite of the 3. At number 7, it's actually going to be Charizard. I like Charizard. I don't have an absolute raging hard-on for Charizard like so much of the community does, but what's not to like about him? I mean, I know he doesn't like rocks, but yeah, Charizard's dope. My personal favorite starter evolution, though, has got to be Blastoise. It's personal preference, I know, but yeah, again, Squirtle Squad. Now, topping out our number 5 spot, this is actually going to be Articuno. I would say generally this Pokemon isn't an absolute staple of the series, but I personally love this one. Just a very cool, majestic ice bird. It's great. Now, at number 4, ladies and gentlemen, we've got one of the most loved Pokemon of all time. This is Gengar. And honestly, what's not to love about Gengar? He is probably a top 10 most iconic Pokemon ever. Certainly a top tier aesthetic as well as skill and ability, but there's always just something that I found limiting with Gengar. I could never get Gengar to work super effectively in my party. So yeah. But I mean, come on, it's still your number 4 spot. Now moving on to number 3, we've got my personal favorite fire type. I think actually maybe of any generation. This is Ninetales. Ninetales is just so majestic and beautiful, and oh my god. It's a fire fox. It's spectacular. Now, moving on to number 2, we've got good old Gyarados. Freaking love this Pokemon. It was the first Pokemon I ever got to level 100, and he's a beast. Looks great, super powerful. Only real weakness is lightning. Don't take him near that. But other than that, Gyarados is spectacular. But ladies and gentlemen, my favorite Pokemon is actually probably something you might not have been expecting, and that is actually Alakazam. Alakazam is my favorite Pokemon of any generation ever. Maybe. The only thing that really I think even comes close is Decidueye from Gen 7. Alakazam to me is the psychic type. I personally love his aesthetic, and the thing that really always just made him stand out for me is how good he is throughout the games. He is this insanely fast, insanely strong psychic sweeper that literally just destroys everything. Teach him Shadow Ball, he beats psychic types too. He's just fantastic. Obviously in Gen 1 he's overpowered because psychics were just overpowered, but even throughout the rest of the generations he's just so good. I love psychic types, and Alakazam is probably my favorite of them all. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's our list. So that was a pretty beefy long one. Let me know what you guys thought. Again, if you do want to be entered in to win that giveaway, you just have to be a subscriber of the channel and comment down below what you thought of this list. That's literally all you have to do. Make sure to check your YouTube inboxes in case I do pick you, as I'll just be replying. And yeah, that's our list. Thank you guys again. I will talk to you in the next one, and peace out, you freaking nerds. But wait, ladies and gentlemen, it is I, Pat from the future. But wait, ladies and gentlemen, it is I, Pat